What is likely to happen today in court?
Well, good morning, everybody. That's the place where everything is going to happen today. That's the Parliament Palace, and the Constitutional Court is working inside of that building. What's happening today is that the court is going to deliberate on the legality, constitutionality of this referendum, so-called traditional family referendum. What happens is that in the fall of 2015, a number of traditional-oriented associations, conservative associations, started a petition asking the parliament and the government to organize this referendum to change an article of the Constitution and define the family as the marriage between a man and a woman. Now, the current text of the Constitution is that marriage is to be performed between spouses that would be would leave a bit of open space, for the same-sex couples. Well, if this referendum is really organized on the 7th of October, this is what the members of the parliament proposed to do. So if this parliament is to be organized and if the Romanians will vote yes, then the constitution will be narrowed and the same-sex couples won't be able and won't have any chance in the future to see better legislation for them, allowing them to get married.
And Marijan, just one quick question. Same-sex marriage is already illegal in Romania. Why hold a referendum on the subject anyway?
It is true. It's absolutely true. We have the civil code, and the civil code specifically says that marriage should be performed between man and woman. But these conservatives are really afraid that somebody would debate that and would say it's not constitutional because the Constitution is larger than that. So this is why all this fuss and the whole Romanian society is somehow on fire, because you can imagine human rights activists are against this referendum and against this narrowing proposition.
All right, Marijan, you're on live for us in Bucharest. Thank you very much for that update. And I'm now joined by Catrinel Motok, a senior campaigner from Amnesty International, who's live for us in London. Mrs. Motok, thank you very much for joining us this morning. Amnesty International actually joined other rights groups in submitting this legal challenge in the Romanian Constitutional Court. What are you hoping to achieve?
Yes, good morning. Indeed, Amnesty International, together with ILGA Europe and EXOL, made a legal submission to the Constitutional Court with the aim of providing guidance and interpretation of the international regional human rights standards, which we hope will help the Constitutional Court to actually declare the initiative unconstitutional, because it would lead to an infringement of the rights.
Now, I'm going to play devil's advocate here a little bit, because what you're saying is that if approved, these changes to the Constitution would actually represent a backward step for Romania. But they will only go through if people vote in favor of the changes in this referendum. Don't you trust the Romanian people to block this move? And if you don't, why don't you vote? Don't you trust them?
Well, yes, such a change would go ahead indeed if it would be validated, so having the sufficient number of votes. However, Amnesty's positions and the position of many other organizations is that fundamental human rights and freedoms should not be left to the scrutiny of the people. Like, they're so inherently into the human dignity and the human beings, that actually the state's obligation is that of ensuring that everybody benefits from them equally and they're not subject to interference, abuse, or curtailing.